Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Thursday the 7th of March. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Reach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. Tasha Miller this morning delayed the start of case management hearing in the Home Circuit Court for over 3 hours after he refused to attend. Miller, the court heard, had refused to leave his cell at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center, forcing the police to devise a plan to get him to the Supreme Court. He was reportedly pried from the facility by members of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Unit, CTOC. However, when he arrived, it was reported that he again refused to be escorted into the courtroom and had to be dragged by the police as he kept resisting. The matter, which was scheduled for 10 a.m., started around 1:40 p.m., shortly after Miller entered the courtroom dressed in a long white t-shirt and red shorts. The delay did not go unnoticed by Justice Vinette Graham Allen, who demanded to know the reason for the wait as soon as she started the matter. She was then informed by the prosecutor as to what transpired and was told that Miller was the reason, as the other 23 accused in the case had arrived at court from 9:45 a.m. Miller's attorney, John Clark, while indicating that he needed to get further instructions from his client, disclosed that his client was used as a punching bag and would require medical attention. Justice Graham Allen, in issuing a formal order for Miller to receive medical attention, said she would address the accused man's complaint in another hearing. Miller is charged under the anti-gang legislation for leadership of the organization, while his co-accused are to answer to membership charges. He is currently serving nearly 39 years for accessory before the fact to murder and accessory in connection with the 2008 murder of former chairman of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, Douglas Chambers. A man was fatally shot by the police this morning, and 3 firearms were reportedly found in Caymanas Gardens, Portmore, St. Catherine. The dead man has not yet been identified, but the police say they recovered a pistol after he fired at members of the St. Catherine South Special Operations Team. The incident occurred about 5 a.m. The police said they later seized an AK-47 rifle and a shotgun from a nearby premises, and that they are looking for other weapons. 10 men from the community were taken into custody, and the Independent Commission of Investigations is now probing the incident. Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn says Portland businessman Everton Beachstone MacDonald and his co-accused Oscar Barnes could face more than 35 years in prison. MacDonald was found guilty of the July 2020 murder of his second wife, Tonya MacDonald. Barnes was also found guilty of the murder. The men were also found guilty of the charge of conspiracy to murder.
They took us to trial, and based on precedent for this type of offense, and given the heinous nature and the aggravated factors that are abundant, they could be looking at anything, definitely life imprisonment, but anything between perhaps 35 years and 45 years before being eligible for parole.
A 7-member jury handed down the verdict in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston on Wednesday. The jury of 3 women and 4 men began deliberations for a verdict at 2:19 in the afternoon. 1 hour and 5 minutes later at 3:24 p.m., the jury had reached a unanimous guilty verdict. Llewellyn says the evidence presented by the prosecution during the murder trial was cogent.
The evidence was very compelling. The judge was extremely detailed in his summation, which took about 4 or 5 days. And one of the first things he would tell the jury, it is the prosecution that has a duty to prove the case against each accused beyond a reasonable doubt. And also that they must only be guided in their consideration of the evidence. They cannot speculate, they can't have any prejudice or any sympathy for either the deceased or the accused. So the evidence was very, very cogent and very compelling.
Meanwhile, Llewellyn says her office looks forward to defending the conviction if the matter goes before the Court of Appeal. One of the defense attorneys indicated that he had identified grounds for an appeal of the guilty verdict. But Llewellyn says she is comfortable with the evidence used to convict MacDonald. An auto body repairman was arrested and charged over the seizure of 3 firearms, including a rifle, at his house in Compound, Central Village, St. Catherine, on Wednesday. 24-year-old Nicholas Ibert, otherwise called Brookfoot, is charged with stockpiling prohibited weapons and the 2 counts of unauthorized possession of ammunition.
On Wednesday, March 6, 2024, about 12 midday, a team of police officers attached to the Specialized Operations Branch conducted a targeted operation at a premises located along First Avenue, Compound, Central Village. We were armed with a warrant under the authority of the Firearms Act to search the same premises, which is said to be occupied by a high-ranking member of the Stokely Collins-led Stinger Gang, which operates in the Central Village community. During the search of the premises, 3 prohibited weapons were found. That is 1 7.62 rifle, 1 9mm pistol, and 1 .38 revolver. 1 person was taken in custody in relation to the seizure of these firearms. He is expected to be charged by detectives assigned to the Criminal Investigation Unit at the Specialized Operations Branch. The Specialized Operations remain relentless in our pursuit of major criminal gangs across Jamaica as we seek to dismantle these gangs in a bid to reduce major crimes such as murders and shootings across the country.
Meanwhile, 2 high-powered firearms were seized by members of the security forces in a targeted operation in Flanker, St. James on Tuesday. More from Senior Superintendent of Police Vernon Ellis, head of the St. James Police Division.
The targeted operation this morning by members of the security forces was successful in that we recovered an AK-47 mini rifle. We also recovered a camouflage suppressed submachine gun. This is part of our commitment to combating violent crimes and dismantling criminal gangs in Jamaica. After the incident on February 26th with the fatal arrest of Peter Johnson, O.C. Jolo, we would have received several death threats against members of the security forces who were on duty that day. A premises connected to Johnson was searched this morning and the weapons were found.
The man who is alleged to have killed 10-month-old Saria and her mother Tashina Patterson sought to declare his innocence when he appeared in the Home Circuit Court on Wednesday. David Smith, who was unrepresented in court, was served a death penalty notice by Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn. He is jointly charged with Ronald Balfour, Bijan Black, and the alleged mastermind of the crime, Leota Bradshaw. Smith was the 6th person to be arrested and charged. It is alleged that Smith is a triggerman who, after allegedly being given the gun by Bijan Black, used it to shoot and kill Patterson and baby Saria on the 9th of September 2023. Smith also allegedly sent a picture of the deceased females by phone to Leota Bradshaw upon a request while at the scene of the murder. The bodies were thereafter burnt at the scene. In an attempt to defend himself, Smith told presiding judge Justice Vinette Graham Allen, "I did not do any murder, ma'am." But Justice Allen instructed him to remain silent until he was assigned an attorney. Smith, Bradshaw, Balfour, and Black will return to court for a case management hearing on the 13th of June. A 23-year-old man was on Tuesday charged for the recent shooting death of a 16-year-old girl in her home in Albion Avenue in Kingston. Charged with murder, shooting with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and making use of a firearm to commit a felony is Taji Squire, also of Albion Avenue. His court date is being arranged. 16-year-old Bianca Thompson, otherwise called Abby, was gunned down on Saturday the 24th of February. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that about 11:22 p.m. they were called to the community by persons who reported hearing explosions. The lawmen responded and found Thompson lying on a bed inside her house with several gunshot wounds. She was assisted to the hospital where she was pronounced dead upon arrival. On Tuesday, February 27th, police on operation apprehended Squire. Squire was subsequently charged on Tuesday, March 6th after a question and answer session. A 24-year-old construction worker is in police custody following the murder of his 60-year-old mother in 9 Miles District, St. Anne. The deceased has been identified as Jennifer Tucker, a farmer of Sims Run in 9 Miles District. The police say Tucker was on her farm about 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday when she received a call and went to assist her son inside the house, which is located on the same property. Tucker's lifeless body was later found on the floor of the house, with blood oozing from the nose and mouth. The police say her son was seen fleeing the premises. An alarm was raised and he was chased by residents who stoned and chopped him. A businessman was shot and killed at a bar he operated on Nonpareil Road in Negril on Wednesday night. He has been identified as 44-year-old Fabian Townsend, a resident of the community. Reports are that the police were on patrol in the area when they observed a crowd gathered at a section of the roadway. The lawmen then proceeded to make checks and later discovered Townsend lying on his back inside the bar with blood coming from his mouth and what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head and the chest. He was taken to the Savannah Lamar Public General Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.